Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? I guess you can. Weren't we just here 2 weeks ago? Am I having a little flashback, or we were here 2 weeks ago, right? So I'm okay. All right. My name is Peter Rollins, and along with our President, Father Leahy, and our Executive Vice President, Pat Keating, and our Carroll School of Management Dean, Andy Boynton, I welcome you to the Chief Executives Club of Boston. Once again, the room has filled with a who's who, so in the tradition of our club, and particularly for our first-time attendees, what we're going to do is go around the room and have each of you tell us a little bit about yourselves. In addition to the private sector chairman, presidents, and managing partners in attendance, I would like to acknowledge from the public sector the CEO of Massport. There's no such thing as too many runways, Craig Coy. Craig? Our Secretary of Economic Development, a man whose star has risen, Ranch Kimball. Ranch? Our outstanding and low-profile State Treasurer, Tim Cahill. Tim. Our distinguished and courageous Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Court, Margaret Marshall. Margaret. And our tasteful, bright, competent Lieutenant Governor, now referred to as the candidate, Kerry Healy. Also a few of the best power brokers I know. Former Senate President Tom Birmingham. Tom? House Speaker Tom Finneran. Tom? And former Governor Jane Swift. Jane? And we do have a former Secretary of State here. I'm not sure what he's doing now. Paul Guzzi. Paul? As I look down at our speakers table, I see the first time evidence that the glass ceiling continues to crack. We have 4 women at first. In addition to our Chief Justice and the Lieutenant Governor, the CEO of Tufts New England Medical Center, Ellen Zane. Ellen? And the CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Kathy Minahan. And speaking of women, you should all know that a 4-year academic scholarship was presented moments ago to a deserving Boston College undergraduate student, and that scholarship bears the name of our keynote speaker. A special thank you to Pat Stokes, who is both the chairman of our Board of Trustees and the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, for making this possible. The A.G. Lafley Scholarship winner is Tara Burke. Congratulations, Tara, and please stand up and be recognized. There you are. There are 2 additional companies who joined with us this week, American Crystal and CEO Roundtable, LLC. We love competition. Welcome to the Chief Executives Club of Boston. Believe it or not, it is still possible to become a member of this organization, so to that end, our brochures will be in the foyer as you depart. We will next gather here on March 1st, when partners Jim Mongden will host Amgen's CEO, Kevin Scherer, and as a reminder, Amgen is the world's largest biotech company. Other confirmed future speakers include Disney's new CEO, Bob Iger, and ExxonMobil's new CEO, Rex Tillerson. And stay tuned, we have some very interesting keynote speakers coming as well. Now, let me thank Ron Dion for hosting today's occasion and bring him to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker, Ron.
Thank you, Peter. We truly are blessed today to have one of America's leading chieftains, corporate chieftains, in what today is really a global economy. We really have one of the best ones today for you. Many people may not know this, but A.G. Lafley is a kind of kindred spirits with us. He originates from New Hampshire. He's a Hamilton College graduate where he continues to serve as a trustee. He received his MBA from Harvard, and in 2004 received the Distinguished Alumni Award from the university. A.G. went from Harvard directly to Procter & Gamble in 1977 in the role of assistant brand manager. And if you look at his bio, he's had just about every role that's possible he can have at Procter & Gamble in terms of domestic brand management, international brand management, and was very instrumental in growing P&G's business in Asia, in Japan, and particularly recently in China. In 2000, A.G. was named president and CEO. In 2002, he was elected to be chairman of the board. In the year 2000, many people, critics, analysts, what have you, were criticizing P&G for stalled growth, lack of direction, and wondering whether or not the company was floundering irreparably. I will just give you a few stats in terms of what Mr. Lafley has accomplished in 5 years as being president and CEO. His annual revenues have almost doubled. P&G now ranks 19th on the Fortune 500 list. A.G. is, if you do a little bit research, you quickly learn that he is one of the world-renowned experts on brand equity. And to that point, P&G and A.G. have 22 brands, each doing over $1 billion a year in annual revenues. I also went into the latest proxy of P&G, and these are numbers that Peter Lynch would be really proud of. If you had invested in 2000 $100 in the S&P 500, at the end of P&G's recent fiscal year last year, you would have returned $95. It would be worth $95. If you invested the same $100 in P&G with AG, you would have $205. Peter would say that's at least a strong two-bagger, perhaps even more. Right? But the staggering figure, which I found, is from the period of 2000 to most recently, A.G. Lafley and Procter & Gamble have returned almost $70 billion to their shareholders through stock price appreciation and cash dividends. Staggering numbers. So you can see what's happened from 2000 to 2005 right into today. In digging a little deeper, I found something that I personally thought was pretty intriguing. A.G., between Hamilton and Harvard, went into the Navy. And in the Navy, in Japan, outside of Tokyo, he ran what is called for the Navy at least, is called a grocery and specialty retailer. In the Army, we call those PXs, but in the Navy, they call them grocery and specialty retailers. But as a director of BJ's Wholesale Club, and Mike Wedge, our CEO, is here today with us, we can tell you that it is just a very wonderful experience to have and to be a customer with Procter & Gamble. AG talks about not having customers, he talks about having partners, and we really at BJ's see that across the board in all the relationships we have with Procter & Gamble. So I would ask you to give a warm welcome to a now fellow Bostonian, A.G. Lafley.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. On a beautiful, sunny afternoon here in Boston. It's a real pleasure to be here I must say I'm a little bit intimidated after reading that article in USA Today. Charlotte said it would just be a friendly, small luncheon in Boston. I didn't know this was one of the top 10 places for people to speak in the world, so I'm particularly honored to be here. As Ron mentioned, I have a lot of personal ties to New England and to Boston. I was born up the road in Keene, New Hampshire. As he said, I returned from naval service to study at the Harvard Business School. I grew up, my grandmother lived in Boston and worked at McLean's Hospital, and I grew up coming every summer for 2 weeks and doing the Freedom Trail, visiting the Constitution, going down to the Cape to visit where the Pilgrims landed. And of course, I grew up a big Red Sox fan, but the outfield I remember was Jensen, Pearsall, and Williams. And the shortstop was Don Budden, believe it or not. I'm also a Patriots fan, except when they're playing the Bengals. Unfortunately, the Patriots and the Bengals suffered the same fate in the playoffs a week or two ago. My principal reason for being in Boston today was the chance, of course, to be with you here, but the visit also gave me the opportunity to participate in an announcement that we made earlier this morning. Along with Mayor Menino, Elaine Ulian of Boston Medical Center, and Robert Fiala of the Massachusetts Dental Society, we announced grants totaling $750,000 from P&G and from the Crest and Oral-B brands to help improve the dental health of underserved Boston and Massachusetts children. So thank you. Over the next 3 years, P&G will donate $500,000 to the Pediatric Dental Clinic at the Boston Medical Center, which operates in collaboration with the Boston University School of Dental Medicine. This grant will allow the clinic to launch a program of preventive dental care services for 2,000 to 3,000 low-income, at-risk children per year who simply don't have access to those services today. In addition, the Crest Healthy Smiles program, along with its new partner, Oral-B, will donate $250,000 to the Massachusetts Dental Society for a mobile dental care van. This van, staffed by a dentist, a dental assistant, and yes, thankfully, a driver, will provide services focused on underserved children in cities and towns throughout Massachusetts. Now, the need for these preventive care services is great, even in one of the richest cities in one of the richest nations in the world. One Boston Medical Center study showed that in a single year, more than 40% of patients had experienced a dental emergency that had gone untreated because the patients simply could not afford proper dental care. Another study by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health found that nearly 30% of third graders in the state have untreated tooth decay. This is precisely the kind of need P&G can help address. Our company's success as a business and as a corporate citizen all comes down to the small but meaningful differences we try to make in people's everyday lives, like working with outstanding partners like the Boston Medical Center and the Massachusetts Dental Society to help children get the dental care they deserve. These grants are just another example of the difference we hope to make in P&G's newest hometown. It was almost 1 year ago, on January 28, 2005, that we announced we were going to combine Gillette and P&G into a single company. A company we believed would be better together than alone, and one that I'm hopeful over the next couple of years you'll feel that bringing Gillette and P&G together and making Boston a P&G hometown has been a plus for this community. So on that note, I'd like to take a few minutes this afternoon to help you get to know my company a little bit better, to explain the potential I see in the P&G and Gillette combination, and to talk about the opportunities for growth and service in Boston and New England. First, a few facts about P&G. Procter & Gamble was born 168 years ago when an Irish soap maker and an English candle maker became partners in Cincinnati. The company was created with an initial investment of about $7,200. Today, there are fewer than 50 member nations in the United Nations that have been around longer than P&G. Only 4 of the 500 largest companies in the U.S. have been in business as long as P&G. Now, for our first 55 years, we were a private company. We were incorporated in 1890, listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 1891. Even then, the founding families continued to play leadership roles, serving in senior management positions and on the board of directors. The first CEO who was neither a Procter nor a Gamble was R.R. Dupree, who took the helm in 1930, 93 years after the company was founded. There have been only 8 non-family chief executives since. I've thought a lot about what it takes for a company like ours to grow, prosper, and thrive for such an incredibly long time through so many changes and through so much history. And in P&G's case, I think it boils down to just a few things. First of all, we are purpose-driven and values-led. As I said a moment ago, our success comes down to making small but meaningful differences in people's, women's and men's and their families' everyday lives. We care for babies, we care for children, we care for families, and we care for their pets. We make everyday chores like household cleaning a little bit easier, a little bit simpler. We treat osteoporosis, and we care for hair and for skin. We help literally billions of people around the world look and feel a little bit better every day. Our company's values are integrity and trust, ownership and leadership, and passion for serving and winning with our consumers whom we serve. Our purpose and values aren't particularly unique. They're not remarkable in any way, but I would submit they are powerful because they've been handed down from generation to generation and role modeled in the everyday actions of P&Gers around the world. The second factor in P&G's longevity is a heritage of recognizing and leading change. Change leadership has distinguished our company for decades. We've been willing to reinvent the company, to change anything and everything, whatever it takes to serve our consumers and customers better, as long as it is in keeping with our core purpose, values, and principles. The third factor is innovation, P&G's lifeblood. Companies that can create, that can innovate, that can lead innovation are generally the growth catalysts in their industries. And we focus on being the innovation leader in every industry in which we compete. This has always been at the heart of our business model, and we have a long list of consumer products good industry firsts. Tide was the first heavy-duty synthetic laundry detergent, Crest the first fluoride toothpaste proven to prevent cavities, Ariel the first laundry detergent with biological enzymes, Pampers the first disposable baby diaper, Pert the first conditioner in shampoo. We also pioneered a lot of advertising firsts, the first color print ads in the late 19th century. We produced the first radio ad and gave birth to soap operas, first on radio, then on TV. We have the oldest continuous profit-sharing program for all employees in North America. We invented brand management. We were one of the first companies to create a dedicated consumer and market research function. We were the first in our industry to create a product supply function that integrates manufacturing and engineering and purchases and logistics. We were the first to partner with our retail customers with an organization we call Customer Business Development that does a lot more than sell. It provides a range of services to our retail customers. This is just part of a long list of accomplishments and more specifically innovations that have made us the company that we are. The fourth factor in our track record is our track record of developing strong leaders and managers. In fact, we were recognized recently by Chief Executive Magazine as the #1 leadership development company in the world. That's nice, but what we're more interested in is developing and growing leaders year after year. P&G people are given the opportunity, the assignments, the experiences, the coaching, and the training to develop to their full potential, to become the change that they want to be in the world. This is important because we are a build-from-within company. Our future management comes from inside the organization. We refresh our leadership pool with talent from acquisitions, and Gillette is an outstanding example of that. And we ensure all our leaders continue to grow and develop. Nothing we do is more important for the long-term growth, development, and health of our company. We've also supplied a lot of leadership to other companies. Steve Ballmer at Microsoft, Scott Cook at Intuit, Meg Whitman at eBay, Tony Belloni at LVMH, Paul Pullman at Nestle, Jim McNerney at Boeing, and Jeff Immelt at GE are just a few P&G alumni who are now CEOs and senior managers of major companies. Now, obviously, we would have liked to have retained more of that talent, but we're nevertheless proud of the time that they spent and grew and developed with us, and I know they're proud of P&G and of their association and connections with our company. We're now entering what I'm confident will be an exciting new era of growth with Gillette. We've brought together two of the consumer products industry's strongest leaders, most innovative leaders, and we've created a really strong lineup of leading brands that make everyday life better. As Ron said, we now sell 22 brands around the world whose sales range from a bit more than $1 billion to almost $7 billion in the case of Pampers. Our total sales should surpass $70 billion this year. In terms of market capitalization, P&G is among the 10 most valuable companies in the world, roughly the same value as Johnson & Johnson and Walmart. Our brands include a long list. I'll mention just a few: Pampers and Tide, Olay and Gillette, Duracell. These are all billion-dollar-plus brands today. And I hope as you look through the facts about P&G brochures, which I hope we will be leaving with you, you'll see more than a few brands that your families buy every week, use every day, and trust, and therefore use loyally. This week, we're introducing what I'm confident will be a billion-dollar brand of the future, the new Gillette Fusion shaving and skincare system. You'll get the first peek at the Fusion advertising if you watch the Super Bowl a week from Sunday. And today, you are literally the first group to get your hands on Fusion razors. You don't know how hard it was for me to get a Fusion razor. The toughest part of the negotiation between the Gillette and P&G company was we poured through table after table of terrific consumer research and product performance results, but I kept saying, I'd really like to see that razor and I'd really like to use it. So they gave me the razor and one blade. And I used the razor with pride, and I respect their confidentiality, and we returned the blade and the used blade and the razor. So you're getting the first production model today. So please do take it home, give it a try, and let us know whether it's a great experience, which of course we hope it is. Taken together, our billion-dollar brands generate more than 2/3 of the company's sales and profits and make up a portfolio of businesses that's balanced between large, steadily growing household enterprises and faster-growing, higher-margin beauty, health, and personal care businesses. This balance is really important to us because it creates the flexibility to deliver consistent, reliable growth and the capability to continue to invest in innovation. Gillette enhances P&G's leadership and our balance. The challenge now is to take full advantage of the potential we've created with the combination of these companies. Short term, our focus is on expanding distribution of Gillette brands into channels and markets where they're not fully represented today. China is just one example. Gillette is present and sold in about 60 Chinese cities today, and 4, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Chengdu, represent the majority of the Gillette business. P&G products are currently sold in 2,000 Chinese cities and 11,000 towns and villages. So clearly, we hope we can make the Gillette and Duracell products available to many more Chinese families. At the same time, we want to leverage Gillette's strong in-store presence in channels and customers where P&G brands are not as well developed or as well represented. Channels like convenience stores, drugstores, home improvement stores. Midterm, our focus will be on broadening Gillette's brand equities. We're very confident the Gillette brand can stand for more than shaving, for more than blades, razors, and shave preparation products. This is a great global male brand, and we believe it can become an even bigger and broader platform for innovation. These revenue synergies, along with important cost synergies, give me confidence we can serve more consumers in more countries, in more aisles of more stores around the world, and deliver greater consumer value and, in the end, greater shareholder value. We're off to a pretty good start. The benefits of this merger, we believe, go well beyond cost and revenue synergies. We think the merger provides the opportunity to relook at and refresh and reinvigorate the way we do business. It provides the opportunity to take the best Gillette approaches and the best P&G approaches and create new and better approaches. This is often an unforeseen benefit of acquisitions. In fact, an article in the MIT Sloan Management Review last summer made this very point. And I quote, "Although most companies undertake acquisitions with an eye toward fueling growth, the resulting infusion of new ideas, new perspective, and new processes can produce lasting benefits that are broader and deeper." And we believe that. In fact, we're already seeing it. For example, we've looked at how both companies go to market with retailers around the world, and we are reinventing together a new combined approach that we think represents a combination of best practices. We're doing this kind of thing in virtually every area, from talent development to consumer relations. The merger has opened our eyes to some new, proven approaches, and we're already benefiting from them. There's no doubt in my mind that Gillette and P&G will be stronger together than either could have been alone, and that together we also will be better for Boston and New England, which brings me to the point on which I want to close this afternoon. Combining Gillette and P&G creates a number of important benefits for Boston and New England, and being here creates new opportunity for us as well. The community support we announced this morning is just one example of the kind of impact we hope to continue to make. We believe we can make an enduring difference in the communities in which we work and live by focusing on a consistent cause where the need is great and where there is a clear fit with P&G's strengths, with our businesses, with our brands, and with our programs. We've chosen to focus on children in need, through a global cause we call Live, Learn, and Thrive. We support programs around the world that help children live by ensuring they have a healthy start in life. The grants we announced today are all about helping Boston and Massachusetts children in need get the healthy start they deserve with the right kind of oral care. We also support programs that provide places, tools, and programs that enhance children's ability to learn. And we help provide access to programs that help children develop life skills they need to thrive. Live, Learn, and Thrive comes to life through hundreds of programs in hundreds of P&G communities around the world. The Crest Healthy Smiles program with the Oral-B brand as a new partner is just one of those programs. Healthy Smiles improved the oral health of more than 5 million children around the world last year alone. We aim to reach 50 million children and their families by the end of this decade. Today, we're providing financial support. Over time, we expect to make an even greater impact through the engagement of human support, P&Gers in the local community. I believe their leadership and involvement, the knowledge power of P&G people, the energy of P&G people will create far more enduring value for the community than any financial support could ever do alone. The positive impact we hope to have is not limited to philanthropic support. We want and expect to be a catalyst for growth. We will drive growth first and foremost by maintaining a strong presence in Boston and New England. Our practice has been to keep acquired companies operating where they are when the business is healthy and the business is growing. Gillette's Blades and Razors business will continue to be headquartered here in Boston. The South Boston Manufacturing Center will continue to be the lead facility for the development and production of premium shaving systems for the world. In fact, we joined Gillette last March to announce the investment of more than $200 million in the South Boston facility over the next 3 years. And we will maintain Gillette's upstream technology lab at Needham. We also expect to expand P&G's technology and commercial partnerships throughout this region. We have long-standing relationships with several universities, and I shouldn't list them, I'll leave somebody out, but with virtually all of the universities in the greater Boston area. We have strong partnerships with Mass General Hospital, Brigham and Women's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, and the Boston University School of Dental Medicine. We will continue to build and strengthen on all of these university and healthcare partnerships. Beyond these existing partnerships, we've begun to identify potential new partnerships with a number of local entrepreneurs and companies, with the help of Governor Romney and his economic development team led by Ranch Kimball. Biotechnology and nanotechnology are two particular priorities for us right now, and we've already come to appreciate the strength of Boston's academic and industrial base in both areas. After only 6 months of active effort, we've identified a substantial number of promising opportunities. I'll just mention a couple. We've signed confidentiality agreements with 3 nanotechnology firms and are sharing ideas and technologies already. We've formed 4 new consulting relationships with university faculty who have expertise in nanotechnology that we believe is relevant to existing P&G technology. We've established new connections with major industrial firms and suppliers for process engineering technology and at least 1 upstream new product technology opportunity. We are pursuing new academic and hospital relationships through Partners Healthcare System. As you know, Partners brings together researchers from Mass General, Harvard Medical School, and Brigham and Women's Hospital. I want to thank Jack Connors, Chair of the Partners Board, and Jim Mongan, Partners CEO, for being here today and for your partnership. We see potential opportunities to work with Mass General's Wellman Center for Photomedicine on the use of light for skin care, and with Harvard's Cutaneous Biology Research Center on a range of other skincare technologies. And we're eager to tap into the large existing patent portfolio that Partners manages for all these institutions. These are significant opportunities. These are just a few that are underway. For Mass General, Harvard Medical, and Brigham and Women's, P&G offers new commercialization channels and consumer products. And for P&G, the expertise and technologies available through Partners can be a meaningful new source of consumer innovation. So in the end, we think it's a win-win-win for P&G, for these outstanding research institutions, and for the Boston and New England area. We will be announcing more details as these new relationships develop in the weeks and months ahead, but what I hope you can sense even now is that our presence in Boston and New England has the potential to be an important growth catalyst for P&G and for local entrepreneurs, local innovators, local businesses, and local healthcare institutions. The most important message I want to leave today is that we're proud to be a new member of the Boston community. We look forward to being here and to growing here. We're enormously proud to be associated with Gillette, a world-class business with outstanding brands and outstanding people, and we're confident that Gillette and P&G together can grow faster than either could have alone. In the end, that's good for our employees, that's good for our customers and our consumers and our suppliers, that's good for our shareholders, and that's good for Boston. Thank you very much for inviting me.
AG has graciously agreed to take a few questions, and I'm under instructions from Mr. Rollins that if you could, there are microphones circulating, so if you could wait for a microphone, Peter would certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give you the short answer, okay? There's no doubt in our industry that the power has shifted to the consumer, that the consumer has an incredible power of choice and power of access. And as I said to someone earlier today, in the area of advertising and marketing and public relations, we are literally trying anything and everything to reach our consumers. So I think it's going to be a very exciting time to be in those industries. I think they're going to see more change in the next decade than they've probably seen in the previous 100 years.
Mr. historically, compared to some of the other companies in Boston, Gillette was less active on the civic leadership front. I think it's wonderful what you've done in terms of dental health, but I'm also wondering whether you intend to get involved in civic leadership in terms of public policy. Because obviously, given the statistics that you just cited, we need more than even what you've just done.
No, you're right. We get involved in public policy issues that are relevant and important to our industry and to our company's sustainable growth. So I think you will see us engage in those kinds of issues. And we engage on the international level, the national level, the state level, and the local level, depending on what the issue is, what the opportunity is, and where we think we can be most helpful. Yes.
Gee, how do you handle or manage branding and private labeling, where you are the primary manufacturer?
Private labels started, well, got their first impetus during the oil crisis in the 1970s in Western Europe and the US. And at that time, they were rather crude executions and usually fairly poor copies of national brands. What some still call private labels today at the best retailers are brands. They're very sophisticated brands. They're brands that have been well conceived, well created, well designed, well engineered, and well executed. So the answer for P&G is, I think when we do our job right, our brands represent superior performance, quality, and value versus all alternatives, including the retailer brand. At our best retailers, the retailer brand program is strategic. It reinforces the banner equity, Loblaws, Tesco, et cetera, just to mention a couple. But the price points tend to be lower middle of the market and below. We tend to compete middle of the market and up. In the end, the leverage isn't going to be the branding, okay? Although our brands do build trust relationships with our consumers, in the end, the leverage is going to be innovation and technology. And that's why that's why we say innovation is our lifeblood. That's why we want to be on the cutting edge, pardon the pun, of innovation in all of our industries, beginning with blades and razors. And that's why it's so critical that we're working on the kinds of innovation and technology alliances that I mentioned, in Boston, in Massachusetts, and in other leading innovation centers around the world. Yes, sir.
How much bigger does P&G need to get, or are you big enough? And Peter would also like to know, why did you pick 5 blades, why not 7?
I had nothing to do with the number of blade selection. And we'll be a lot better off if I don't get involved in designing shaving systems. It's interesting. We never talk about or think about big. We really don't. We made a couple of acquisitions in the last 3 years, in both cases where the other party called us. We obviously knew about the Wella company and we knew about the Gillette company, and we admired both in their industry, but we had no inkling that they were going to look for a merger. And we were there, and it was right strategically, and we thought we could do it from a capability standpoint, and we did it. But we don't think about size. We think about excellence. And we think about leadership. So our goal is excellence, meeting the needs of the consumers we serve better than anyone else can to make everyday life a little better. And if we do that, she purchases our products, or he, on a more regular basis. The usage experience is a little bit better experience, a little bit more pleasurable experience, a little bit more satisfactory experience. And she comes back, or he comes back and purchases our brand and product again. And if we get a few purchase and usage cycles, we start to build loyalty, and the most valuable stakeholder at our company is a loyal consumer of one of our brands. So we think about building our business sort of one consumer, one household at a time, and introducing them to as many of our brands and product lines as makes sense for them, and delivering on a sustainable basis innovation, performance, quality, and value. And then the size sort of takes care of itself. The size is the number of units you sell times the price you sell it at. You know, it isn't any more complicated than that. The only issue that we do obsess about that's related to size is the manageability of the enterprise. And I won't wax on that one for very long, but I will say we try to keep it very simple, and we try to keep the consumer and customer touching parts of the organization as close to the consumer as we possibly can. So we try to simplify what supports that part of the business, and then we try to turn that part of the business loose so they can stay close to the consumers they serve.
We can take one more question?
Yes, sir.
One more question.
The borderlines between cosmetics and bioscience become more and more blurred. Basically, cosmetics is trying to do from the outside what bioscience is trying to do from the inside. Could you foresee an acquisition in the bioscience field, which would be a real dramatic move towards a new frontier?
Well, as you know, I can't foresee any acquisitions in public at any time. But I will say that there is no doubt that health, what we describe as health care and personal care and beauty care and nutrition, okay, and exercise, you know, are all, you know, part and parcel of well-being. And with the demographics in the developed world, aging population, developed world, people are going to want to live healthier, happier lives longer. And at least the women in my family are going to be coloring their hair and putting on their face before they go out until the last day. So that should be pretty good for my company. And in the developing world, where all the babies are being born, you know, there are going to be more teenagers in the next few decades than there were in the history of mankind, and that should be good for our company. And demographics, you know, in the end, drive a lot of, you know, are the engine, the fundamental engine of growth for many of our industries. But yes, I think that intersection's coming, and no, I have no idea what we're going to do on the acquisition front. Thank you very much. You were much kinder to me than the analysts.
We have something for you. AJ, on behalf of the Boston College Chief Executive Officers Club and Father Leahy, we thank you very much for being with us today, and we look forward to many, many more visits.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, AJ.
I hope I was helpful.
Oh, you were great.